The sound between the O and the M in Om, a sacred teaching on the silence that awakens awareness. Opening transmission. There is a silence deeper than sleep, a stillness more intimate than thought, and a vibration so subtle it doesn't move. This silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence that holds all sound. And within the sacred syllable Om, not in the O, not in the M, but in the space between, we find the most direct doorway to presence. Today, we enter that doorway, not through effort, not through repetition, but through listening, through being still enough to feel the vibration that remains after all sounds fade. 1. The real structure of Om. Om is a single syllable, not AUM, not three parts, but one unified expression. The sound begins with a long, open O vibrating in the chest and throat, and ends in a soft, closed M, a gentle hum that fades into silence. But the deepest part of Om is not the O, and it is not the M. It is what comes after, the stillness, the inner echo, the space that holds no sound and yet is full of subtle vibration. This is the true power of Om. It is not just a chant, it is a map, a doorway, a living silence that awakens awareness. Why the in-between is so sacred, that brief space after the sound fades before the next breath, is where everything opens. You are no longer making sound, you are no longer trying to meditate. You are simply there, present, awake, resting in awareness itself. The mind becomes quiet, the breath becomes soft, and you feel not a mantra, not a thought, but a kind of intimate spaciousness that asks for nothing. This moment is often missed, but it is the key. Because once you begin to feel the silence behind Om, you begin to feel the silence behind everything. 3. A gentle way to enter the sound. Many mantra traditions place great importance on perfect pronunciation, and with good reason. Sacred syllables are precise vibrations, passed down for thousands of years. The sound itself carries energy. It shapes attention. It purifies the inner field. But in the deeper stages of practice, beyond outer sound, beyond technique, what truly awakens the silence within is not the perfection of the chant, but the quality of your attention. Yes, sound matters, but presence matters more. The mantra is not just what you say. It is what you become when you are saying nothing at all. Let's begin the practice not with performance, but with listening. How to practice. 1. Sit comfortably. Let the body be soft but upright. Rest your hands in the lap or on your knees. Close your eyes gently. 2. Breathe in slowly. Let the breath fill the body without effort. 3. As you exhale, make a soft, steady O sound. Let it be open and rounded, like the beginning of a whisper. 4. As the sound continues, gently let it close into a soft hum. Feel it vibrating through your face and skull. 5. When the sound fades, don't move, don't speak, don't chant again. Just rest. Be with the vibration that remains in your body. This is the soundless part of the mantra, the living stillness. 6. Repeat only when it feels natural. The silence between repetitions is more important than the chant itself. Stay there. Listen. Let the silence rise. 4. What happens in the silent space? When you rest in the moment after the sound disappears, your nervous system settles, muscles let go, the heart slows, the body begins to heal. The mind has no object to grasp. It pauses, not because you force it, but because there's nothing to hold on to. A subtle awareness begins to shine, not the thinker, not the one watching, just awareness itself, unmoving, alive, whole. This is not spacing out, this is not hypnosis, this is the deep intelligence of stillness. The silence after Om is not the end of the mantra, it is the heart of the mantra. 5. What science reveals. Though silence cannot be measured directly, its effects on the body and mind are profound. Modern research shows that sound-based meditation can increase alpha and theta brainwaves, promoting relaxation and creativity, quiet the default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for overthinking and self-judgment. Enhance inner hemispheric communication, balancing intuition and logic. But the most powerful effects occur in the silent phase, after the sound ends. This is where the body enters deep parasympathetic rest, where trauma begins to unwind, where the nervous system remembers its original rhythm, and where the identity of me becomes very soft, almost transparent. 6. The symbolism of silence. In many mystical traditions, the deepest truths are not spoken. In early Christianity, it is the still small voice. In Jewish mysticism, it is the name that cannot be uttered. In the Tao Te Ching, it is said, the Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. And in the sound of Om, the final part, the one most people ignore, is the unsounded part, the part that cannot be chanted, but only entered. That is the part we are here to explore. Because the sound of Om is sacred, but the silence it reveals is where the awakening lives. 7. Long-term shifts from listening practice. As you continue to rest in the space between the O and the M, certain subtle transformations begin to occur. You feel less drawn to noise, not out of avoidance, but because your inner silence becomes precious. You begin listening to life in a new way, not just hearing what people say, but sensing the silence beneath their words. Your body becomes your instrument, a field of vibration, a chamber of awareness, and eventually, you realize that the silence you used to enter has always been with you. It is you, not the silence of absence, but the silence of presence. Mystical reflection. Before the world was spoken, before your name was formed, before thought said I am, there was this silence, not a void, not a gap, but a fullness so complete it did not need to move. Every sound returns to it. Every thought dissolves into it, and every soul, sooner or later, surrenders to its depth. The sacred syllable Om points to it, but Om is not the destination. The sound fades, the vibration settles, and what remains is stillness. Not a technique, not a philosophy, but the felt presence of awareness, without story, without form. You do not chant your way to it. You listen your way home. If this teaching helped you return to that quiet place within, if it reminded you that silence is not empty, but alive, subscribe now to receive more sacred transmissions like this. And if you feel called, consider becoming a channel member to support the creation of these teachings for seekers around the world. Next episode, Vajra Breath, a practice to dissolve thought. A powerful breath-based method to pierce through the noise of the mind and anchor in clear presence.